Hello, here we are back at the computer again. I'm going to take another real quick look at MillMage. What we're going to do is we're going to be tracing out a 3D carve. So let's take a look real fast. First thing I want to do is open up MillMage, and as always, you're presented with the material setup. I really don't care about the material setup that much. All right, I've got a depth map here that I actually used in Lightburn. I engraved it into a brass coin, and I did this one in Patrick V-Carve, and I ran it on the long mill. But I made this plaque, and I made that coin, and I had intentions on embedding that coin into the plaque. I still haven't done it. Things get in the way. Another unfinished project. But I'm just going to bring that depth map into MillMage, and we're going to see how we can manipulate it in MillMage. Now that I have MillMage open, I'm just going to drag that depth map to the desktop, and we can see it's larger than our material. So I'll hold control and I'll scale it down some. Now in Lightburn, I created me an ellipse. Let's put this on the red layer so we can see it. I created an ellipse around the piece that I wanted because I did not want all this black area to engrave on my fiber laser when I was doing the brass coin. And the way you do that is you get out of the circle tool. In order to get out of the circle tool, you can either hit your escape key on the keyboard, or you can just come here and click the arrow. And that's the same in Lightburn. But we're going to select the image and that vector. I would go to Tools, and I would apply Mask to, and that would create a mask around our image, and this would not be engraved by the laser. I don't have a toolpath. Let me create a toolpath real fast. Add operation, 3D finishing pass, select our tool. If you see, I've got the entire IDC Woodcraft tool database in MillMage. And the way I did that is I went to IDC Woodcraft, and they have a download database link in the search. Click on that database download and find what program you're using. They have one for the Vectric suite. They have a database for Fusion 360. They have a database for Carbide Create. They have a database for CarveCo, and they have a database for MillMage. Click the download button to get the one for MillMage, and it should go into your downloads folder. But if you don't know where it goes, just look at your downloads button and click the folder option, and the folder will open where it downloaded to, and that file will be highlighted. So in my case, it's in the downloads folder. Go up here to Edit Tools, Load Library. There it is, because I've got it on my desktop, but the one I just downloaded is in my downloads folder. So you would click your downloads, and there's the IDC Woodcraft database.tools. You click on that file, and it will open the entire catalog of IDC and Jenny bits. The Jenny bits are in here too. So you got the big B Jenny, there's the bowl cut Jenny. But anyway, the database is just loaded with Jenny bits and the IDC bits. And you can select the bits you need and add to your project. And you can even go in here and make modifications if you wanted to. I'm going to go to the flat end mill right now just to demonstrate that. I'm not sure why there's two listings in here for the beast, but I'm going to click on the bottom listing. I'm going to double click on it, and you can come in here and modify these feed rates and plunge rates if you wanted to. The step over here for the beast is 3.1%. I do at least 40%. I do at least 40% step over anytime I'm using the beast. Sometimes I use more than that. Sometimes I will go up as high as 60%. But you can just apply those changes, and that change will be saved for whenever you want to use this bit. So I'll go down to my tapered ball nose, and I'll select the fine tapered ball nose. I'll just double click on that, and we'll make our final depth 0.125 millimeters. And I will go ahead and make that an 8% step over. The lower your step over, the longer it's going to take this to render for the preview. We'll hit OK, and now we've got something that we can preview. I click the image and I hit my assign button to assign this toolpath to the grayscale. And as you can see, the grayscale did not get masked off. And so if you had done this in Lightburn, none of this out here and none of this up here would have been engraved. All this outside stuff would have been omitted because we had created a mask. So if you go to Tools and click Apply Mask to Image, that's not going to work in MillMage at all right now. All you gotta do is select the entire thing and assign it. Make sure your vector is part of the assignment. And then when you hit Preview, that's what I was looking for. That's the shape I was looking for. So all you got to do is select your image and your vector, and then it'll mask off. So just say, for instance, if I wanted to mask off the 250, anytime I do a trace, I just like to start with a rectangle, click my select tool. I will right click that rectangle and I will convert it to a path. I will shrink it up as close to what I want to trace. Then I'll go here and click my node tool. So now that I have my vector drawn around the 250, I'm just going to go ahead and hover over each one of these nodes and then hit S. That's going to, S stands for smoothing. That's going to smooth out all of these nodes. Then I'll grab my handles, I'll grab my nodes, and I'll just start tracing it out. Either have them smooth like this, or if you hit smooth, a smooth node is going to keep that smooth. So no matter what you do to this flag, it's going to have an effect on this flag unless you take that flag and move it as close to the node as possible. Then whatever you do up here is not going to affect the other side. Make sure you can see that real well. That's one way to do it. Another way to do that is hover over that node and press C. C is for corner. So now, no matter what I do to this handle, it's not going to affect this handle. But what I do is I just take these nodes and I trace out I'll hit I for insert, drag that down. We can shrink these flags up because we don't want a corner here, but we don't want this node, we don't want this handle affecting this handle too much. So I'm just going to shrink that up a little bit. I'll take this flag and pull that up. Right now I'm just eyeballing stuff. I'm just going through the node editing options right now. One of the reasons I like doing it this way versus using the Bezier tool, you got all these Bezier tools over here to trace out items. I don't like those tools. Sometimes you end up with a whole lot more nodes, than you actually need using these tools. So I just start with a rectangle and I only drop a node where I need a sharp corner. So right here I'd hit I and I'd insert a node right here and put it right at the tip of that 5, and then I just grab the handle and pull it down. I can come over here and I can hit C on that node, turn it into a corner. That way I can do all the manipulation I want to with this node, and it does not affect this handle. I would actually put that node right at the top of that curve. That way this handle can come down a little bit, and I'll drop a node right here, insert by hitting I, pull that handle down, and I'll end up with a smooth, and I could just trace this all the way out. I'll take this node and drag it all the way up to the 2, because remember I wanted the 250. I didn't want all the rest of this artwork. I might drop me another I right here, plop me a node on the bottom side of this 5. That's got a long handle, so I'll shrink it up. I need this one a little bit longer so I can get all of that 0. Drop me another node here and pull that up to the 2. Bring this one up to the tip of the two. Come here. Anytime you got a curve like this, you might want a node on each side of that curve. Oh, now I can just grab this line and pull the line up. See, I'm not grabbing either one of the handles, I'm just grabbing the line and dragging the line out. See how it manipulated that right into place? Not perfect though, so we can grab this handle and get it a little bit closer. Shrink this handle up. Let's bring this node to the tip right there. Now, shrink that handle up. Bring this handle down here. There. You can just use these handles to follow these nodes out. I need a node right here, so I'm going to hit I. Shrink that handle up, and I'm going to grab the line and just pull that line down. Right where I want it to be. Shrink that flag up a little bit. Stretch this one down a little bit. If you use your Bezier tools to trace out an option, usually you're going to end up having to come in here and do these fine manipulations anyway. I'm just going to start with that to begin with. There. And it depends on what you're looking for as far as what you're trying to trace. There. I could get a lot tighter and trace all of those out. But that's not really the point of the video. That's just giving you a little quick demonstration on node editing. Then I'll hit my select tool to get out of my node editing tool. I'm going to go ahead and remove this vector. I want to select the whole thing. I want to select this image and that vector. And I'm just going to assign this path to both the image and that vector I just drew out. Now I'm going to hit my trace. All it's going to engrave is the 250. Now I know that right there is kind of a silly demonstration. Nobody's actually going to want that right there. Let's say there is something you might want. Sometimes you have a STL you want to import. You might not want but one piece of it. Let's drag this American Soldier in. That's going to start up our importer. I'm going to size it to the material. I'm going to create a depth map. And I'm just going to import that depth map. We got the flag in the background. Say you might not want anything but the soldier, and maybe you just wanted to remove the soldier from this background. We can do the same thing. Select tool, right click, convert to path, and I'm just going to shrink it up a little bit, bring that over here. Then I'm going to enter my node editing tool. If you just draw a rectangle, that is not a path, that's an object. So if I tried to go into my node editing tool, well, I'm not going to see any nodes because this is not a path. You have to right click on it, convert to path, then we get to manipulate our nodes. So now that I have this converted, I'm going to enter my node editing tool. I'm just going to bring these nodes down and trace out our soldier. Hit S to create a smooth node. I'm going to have to add a lot of nodes in here, but only, I'm going to hit C right here. I'm going to make this a corner. That way, when I pull this flag, it does not manipulate this flag. That flag will stay the same. The only place you want to put a node is at the sharp corners or two ends of a long curve. This right here, you might want an extra node right here because you might want to get real precise and get right against this helmet. So you might want to hit I right there, hit I right there, so we can get real tight. So we can get real tight into that helmet. I'm going to hit C for corner, since these are sharp corners. That way I can manipulate this handle and this handle. That'll be good enough there. See, when I pull these handles, when I pull this top handle past the bottom handle, we can create this little S curving motion. So we've got all that curve right there, and there's only 2 nodes. The fewer nodes you have in your design, the faster it will process, and the faster your laser and or CNC will handle those processes. It's got less points to calculate. So I dropped a node right here at the corner. I dropped another node right above it, and I just pulled it over to the helmet. Now I can shorten these flags over here. I can shorten this flag. I'm going to just go all the way around and get this as tight as you want to. I'm going to hit C on this one for corner. That way I can pull that node up and get right in there on that. Get right in there on that band on his helmet. And there again, it depends on how precise you want to be with these shapes. Now you see I got a node right here. I'm going to bring this node all the way over here. I'm going to hit C for corner. I'm just going to pull that up. We can get half this helmet. Might be able to get all of it. Let me pull it all the way around. There. Shorten this node, shorten this handle up a little bit. I might have to put one more node in here because got a little bit of a bulge right there. So I'm going to drop another node right there so I can get that part. And then I can shorten this handle a little bit. There. Stretch this handle. I got that whole helmet, or pretty much that whole helmet, with just a handful of nodes. And again, I'm going to put this node way out here to the furthest point there. And then we'll work these around. We got another band. I'm going to hit I, put that there. Hit us I right there. There's another I. Where'd my I go? There it is. I'm going to hit C right here. That's going to be a corner. That way I can wrap that around. This right here is being way more precise than we actually need for this operation. But this is just for demonstration. Hit I right here. Put me an I here to get up in this little corner. Drop me another node right here and grab the tip of his nose. Let's corner these 2 nodes. That way we can bring this in. Hit an I right there. Let's corner that one. A lot of these we're going to use corners on. Control Z. Sometimes it's hard to see the nodes. Did I corner that one? I'm just going to make sure. C for a corner. Got corner now. Got a dip right here, so we'll have to have another node right there. Drop us a node in. Right there. Grab this handle and pull that out. This is definitely going to be a corner. I'm going to bring that node on down here. Right there. Control Z. C for corner. Come down here and grab this flag and pull it up. I. Drop me 2 more nodes right there. Instead of hitting C, I'm just going to shorten that flag all the way up. That's doing the same thing pretty much. Like I said, you can either hit C to make that a corner node, or you can just shorten this flag up to make it a corner. The only difference is when you hit C to make that a corner, you can still manipulate both sides, no matter how far you pull it out. Again, where'd that flag go? Way up there. The eye right there. Put us another eye. And again, I'm getting way too precise with these nodes. C for corner. Control Z. Hover over it. C. That way I don't have to worry about fixing the other side. Oh, that flipped around the wrong way. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Grab all of these. C. Didn't do it. Control Z. Hover over it. C and C. Now that'll do it. See, that node flipped around the wrong way, so I'm going to roll it back around so we don't have any loops in there. There we go. Sometimes you can get your nodes in a knot. You don't want knot nodes. Sometimes you may want loops instead of sharp corners, but most of the time you do not. They do have their place though. They have their own function. Now, put that there. Get an eye right here. Both of these, I want to make both these a corner. Corner, corner. I had that handle and that node selected at the same time, so both of them moved. You can select handles and nodes at the same time. Insert a node by hitting I, Control Z, make that a corner. There is no way we need to be this precise. So, I just hit C on that one. Hobo with wood, he'll tell me, don't have to be so precise where you're removing every single one of these nodes or optimizing this file that much. It's good to have an optimized file, but yeah, you can go to the extreme with optimizing your vectors. Let's corner that node. Insert I. Give me another I. We'll get to the top of that peak right there. Control Z. C for corner. Another eye to insert another node. Bring that right over here. I want to see that too. Get me a node here and go all the way down. That's another sharp corner, so I'm going to see. Bring that down to here. Pull that out, pull that out. It'd be okay to trim some of that. Give me an eye right here. Another eye right here, and we'll go here. Control Z. Insert. There we go. Oh, I put two nodes right there. I missed the node. I don't need that one, so I can hit D to remove that node. Node here, node there. I hit I too many times. What's going on? There we go. There. That looks good. Nope. I right there. There we go. Corner. We had another eye right here. Go up underneath that little lip right there. Control Z, C for corner. There. Here I'll hit an insert. Just going all the way around, dropping nodes in the sharpest corners. C. Got a node knot. C. Insert. Do I really need to go between all these knuckles right here? Insert that. Corner of these two nodes. I cornered that one. I just did. Insert corner. Insert corner. Just hitting I and C back to back. I missed the C on that one. I can see that right now. I C. There. Some designs, if you're trying to trace out a deer and you want all the little antlers to go with it, sometimes you might want to get extremely precise like this. Most of the time, this is way too precise for the effort. You don't have to be that neat to get a good result. Oops. Make sure we cornered that node. And I see already on that node. Get it cornered out. I and C. Put a node right there at his knee. I and C. I right there. Take this node, bring it in. Make sure you capture all of his boot though. That right there be more than good enough. Depends on your application though. All depends on what you're looking for, how you're wanting your end model to look. Oops. I must have missed the eye. There, right where that pin comes in, we're going to have to drop a node there. There. Perfect. I and a C. I and a C. Got a I right there. I, C. I. Control Z. C. That right there. I wasn't planning on getting this tight into this model. I'm going to leave that very loose right there to make sure we get those shoestrings. I don't even know why I'm manipulating this handle right here. You are so far away from the model. I need to do that before I start manipulating too much. And always put it at the deepest point of the curve. Put your nose in the deepest point of the curve. Then you can start manipulating the flags. And there we go. And we have masked out the soldier. Now that we've got the soldier masked out, I'll go ahead and select both the image and the vector, and we'll just assign that path to this, and then we'll do a vector. Well, we'll do a render, do a preview. There, all you've got is your soldier. Now, in the toolpath, I'm going to go ahead and make that a 1/4 inch deep instead of an 1/8 inch on this particular model. Let's see what that does. That's a little bit deeper. Now, let's get rid of all the stuff around it. Easy enough. All I got to do is make me another path. Now, I want to select that path and that path. I'm going to create a new operation. I'm going to create a pocket. To create a pocket, I'm going to use a flat end mill. I use the Beast for just about everything. We do want a clean bottom side, and the Beast will do that, but the Beast will not give you clean edges. It'll give you a clean bottom, but not clean edges. But I'll use a compression bit because I want clean edges, and a compression bit is good at both. Let's see. I made that a 1/4 inch deep, but this 0.45 inches deep, and I'll do 1/8 millimeter per pass. Step over. I want to go aggressive. 60% step over. MillMage can let you go over 50% step over now, which is great. I'm going to do a 60% step over on this bit. I'm going to do 80 millimeters a second. And we'll do offset. Now let's do a preview. My 3D carve wasn't that deep, but that pocket made it stand out a little bit further. And you could, now you could engrave this soldier on just about anything without having the flag and everything in the background. If you wanted to, you could come back after the fact and do an outside profile. Select toolpath. I want to use a bit that's already in my project. I want to use that compression bit. I don't remember how thick my material here was. Let's just say 2 inches for good measure. So you could cut that soldier completely out if you wanted to. So there's how you trace out one particular part of a model. There's how you trace out one particular part of an STL in MillMage. And you can use it for a number of different applications. You got a good smooth cutout. I could have even done around the handle of the piece there. But there's a quick demonstration of some node editing in MillMage. So I hope someone found this helpful. If you did, let me know in the comments, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you for watching.